Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome back to another video for Marvel Strike Force. Now the plan for this evening after unlocking Minerva was to do some videos of Tier 8 Blitz with Kree. Before doing that I figured I would have a quick look at Captain Marvel to see how her kit looks. It looks incredible, it looks absolutely amazing. There is a lot to it. It really did take me quite a bit of time to break it down and actually get an understanding of how it works with the charges and the binary. Looks like there's going to be a ton of options for her and a ton of different characters she can run with, but she really does look fantastic, and that's the reason her videos skip the queue and I'm covering this tonight. It means tomorrow night I'll have the Kree win in the Tier 8 Blitz, and I'll hopefully get them running through some raids as well there. But for tonight it's all about Captain Marvel, so we'll run through her kit and I'll discuss the different aspects that have really impressed me. So first off, anyway, we always go for the description when we do these impressions. So a powerful cosmic soldier who breaks down the defences of multiple foes and gains overwhelming power in binary form. And that sounds just a bit spot on from what I've actually seen for her. Now, when we look at her traits, they're really good. You've got Hero, Cosmic, Bio, Brawler, Kree and Military. So the Hero Brawler one's important, that means she can work very well with Miss Marvel and she can fit into that team there. You've got the Cosmic tag, that means she can work exceptionally well with Thanos and gain energy from him. That energy gain is going to be important when we talk about that later on in the video. And then you've got the Kree tag where she can also gain energy, and again energy gain is very important to her kit. And then finally you've got the new tag, the military tag, that's been added to Captain America, War Machine and also Winter Soldier as well. And when we look at her passive we'll see why that's relevant there. So traits are really good off the bat. If you look at her stats now, I've broken all these down. Her stats look pretty incredible as well. So you have to bear in mind she's a brawler here. Her health is up at A, so that's incredible for a brawler class. Her damage is 44, which is really close between a B and an A. I would need to actually level her up or check out msf.gg before I can say for certain, but it's one or the other. It's exceptionally close. If it's not a B+, it's an A-, so that's a really good start here. Her armour, which is normally lower on the glass cannon classes if they have high health, actually comes in at a B rating as well. So that's A for health, A or B for damage, B for armour. We then look at the focus and resistance. Our focus is pretty insane, it's way up at 80, so that would be an A rating as well. Her resistance would be a B rating. Her crit damage and crit chance are just the same as usual. Speed is 127. Recently we had Carnage, who was exceptionally speedy at 126, so she beats him. So that means she's up at an A rating as well. So across the board there, let me just quickly double check it. We've got 3 A's, and we've got 2 B's, and we've got 1 stat of damage, which could be a B or an A. It's a bit tight, so that's really pretty amazing there. So she's got the great traits, she's got the great stats. Let's look at these abilities now. I'll put in a bit of a disclaimer before I start discussing them. How her binary form and the charge works, it is quite complicated, or at least I think it is, so I may struggle a little bit in my explanation of this, so do bear with me as I run through it. Now, if we start off with the basic here, what I've done, I've added up all the damage numbers here so we can see how much she actually does. So with this, it's Princess Sparkle Fist. So you attack the primary target. Now maxed out at level 7, you'll do a whopping 320% damage on a basic attack. And remember, she's got that A/B damage rating, so that's really amazing. Maxed out as well, you'll have the, well, in fact the chance to change stays at 50% there, and it's to one adjacent target. That doesn't change at all. When you do max it out though, for the adjacent target damage, that goes up to a whopping 220%, so 320 for primary targets. If you get the chain turn on a target, you're doing 220. Then we start to discuss the binary and charged aspect, and I'll run over this very quickly because until we get to the passive it won't make a massive amount of sense. So with this, if not in binary, you gain 1 charged up to a maximum of 5. If in binary, you lose 1 charged. On losing all charged, you end binary. And that particular part of the tooltip is actually included in the special as well, so the basic and the special are the same in that regard. Now, as is the case with most chain brawler attacks, counter attack breaks the chain, so that's fair enough there, so that's a good start with the basic. We then look at the special, which is called Warbird, so I like the names they've used for her. So with this one, when it's maxed out, you attack the primary target for 380% damage, and again, if you're not in binary, you gain 1 charged up to a maximum of 5. If you're in binary, you lose 1 charged. Also, if we scroll down to the bottom here, when you attack a target, you'll clear all positive effects from the target. So it'll be interesting to see if she'll actually clear the positive effects before she does the damage portion, because then it means if they've got the likes of defense up, you'll be doing a lot more damage. And there was a character I covered recently, I think it was Carnage actually, he was one where we were removing, may not have been Carnage, I covered so many recently, but you were removing the buffs before you were doing the damage portion, and that actually worked out really nice. I think it was Ronan actually, when I was talking about him the other day, he has that in his kit. So that's his special, so that looks really nice as well, and that's your 2 single target attacks there. We then have the ultimate, so this is called binary, and this is where our kit starts to come together, but when we see the passive, it will make a lot more sense. So with this here, you gain binary, you attack the primary target for 220% damage, that's only at level 1. If you were to max this out, you'll do a whopping 640% damage, which I think is one of the highest modifiers for damage in the game, and you'll also clear all negative effects from yourself as well. And then this attack cannot be dodged, so a dodge is the same as an evade, so if a character has either of them, you will still hit them. And it cannot crit, which is interesting, but imagine if you could crit with a 640% damage attack, it would maybe be a bit OP, especially when you think again about the damage stat rating that we've already looked at. So again, this is another single target attack, so our basic, special, primary, they've all got single target on them, but when we look at the passive we can see some AoE come in here, and this is when things get really interesting and exceptionally hard to actually explain. The tooltip for this, the length of it is insane, so do bear with me while we run over this. So this is called Higher, Further, Faster. Now with this, while in binary form, you gain 25% damage, 25% armour, 100% focus, 100% resistance. That'll make her immune to the vast majority of debuffs characters can cast. And while in binary, on end of turn, you attack all enemies for maxed out, it would be, let's see, it was 150% damage at the end of your turn. Now also with this, the way it works is on spawn you clear all charged. If any charges were cleared, gain regeneration, so that would essentially be for raids. So if she's got some charges left when she goes into the next node in a raid or dark dimension, a mode where charges carry over, you gain regen at the start of the fight. You gain charged on spawn, so when you're starting you have at least 1 charged, and I'll talk about all the other skills in a moment and hopefully it will all tie together and make sense. If at least 1 ally is military, you gain additional charges when you actually spawn there. So again, the military characters at the moment are Captain America, War Machine and Winter Soldier. She could work in an Avengers team potentially for that reason with Cap and War Machine. Not so much with Winter Soldier. I'm not really seeing any benefits here unless we start to get synergies with other military characters. So that's that portion of it. Moving on, there still is more here. If not in binary, when this character gains ability energy, they gain +1 charged up to a maximum of 5. So when you start off the fight, you won't be in binary unless you actually cast the ultimate, and although we can't see how quickly you can cast the ultimate, when the character's not unlocked, we can't see how many turns it takes to cast a skill. I'm pretty sure this will be available in turn 1, giving you the option of going into binary mode in turn 1 if you want, or actually trying to build up your charges first so that binary mode lasts longer. So just to confirm again then, so if not in binary, when this character gains ability energy, they gain +1 charged up to a maximum of 5. Also with this, on the tooltip at the left hand side, and I've got no idea how I'm going to fit all this tooltip into my in-depth review video, but military allies gain 15% max health and they also gain 10% damage. On turn, you heal self for maxed out 20% of your max health, and our health rating's way up at an A, so that's really amazing there. She doesn't have to be in binary by the sounds of it to get that regen, she just gets that passively there. And let's see, is that everything covered? There really is so much in this passive here. So let me jump back to explain this a bit more now. So if you think back to the the basic and the special. I'm going to go into the basic here, so we can see if you're not in binary, you gain +1 charged up to a maximum of 5, and when you're in binary, you lose 1 charged, and when you lose all charges, you lose binary. So the way I envision this actually working is you'll start a match. Depending if you've got military characters, you could start off with more charge, but typically you start off with 1 charge. Now you have the option of actually going into binary form straight away there, and that means for that first turn, if we go back to the, let's see, is it the ultimate? It's not the ultimate, it's the passive. For that first turn, you have the additional damage, armor, focus and resistance, and you'll do the AoE attack as well. So you're doing burst damage up front, and then that's it. Because when you actually use the basic or the special, you're going to consume a charge, she'll run out of charge and she'll lose binary mode. Now if we go back to the basic once more, if you were actually to start off a match and use the basic or the special first, what you'll be doing is, because you're not in binary mode, you'll be gaining your charges. You could also place her next to characters the likes of Kree characters, because she has that synergy, she can gain energy from them. Star-Lord, or a really obvious choice would be Thanos. Now characters like that could generate energy for her, so they could quickly and hopefully get her up to the maximum of 5 charges. And what that means is when she then goes into binary mode, she's staying in that binary mode for 5 turns, because she has to cast her special and her basic 5 times before she actually loses all the charges and loses binary mode. So once again, let's go back to the passive. Apologies if this is getting confusing, it did take me a while to get my head around it. But you've got the option again of going in with the burst damage, converting to binary straight away, or holding off a little bit, or going in with a military team, or potentially trying to feed her with energy. That's all your different options you've got, which is amazing to see. And if you do that, you could have 5 turns of the 25% damage, the armor, the focus, the resistance, and that 150% AoE that's going off while you've got the additional damage rating, which most certainly would pull it up to an A or an A+ rating. So absolutely incredible. Exceptionally difficult to explain. I hope it did make sense. If you need to watch the video a few times, make sure to watch the adverts every time to support the channel. But she looks absolutely amazing. I do feel that she could be a really hard to unlock character. Personally, with how her kit looks, from her stats to her traits to her abilities, I wouldn't actually mind that, because she does look exceptionally strong, and I believe that the stronger characters should be a bit harder to actually unlock for everyone, not necessarily just ones that wheels can buy straight away, but ones that all players have to really work at. So it's going to be interesting to see how she's actually released, because they've been very tight-lipped on it. But I would say, from what we've been able to see, in answer to the actual question for the thumbnail for this video, I would say that I think she could potentially be a god tier character. She really does look pretty amazing. Let me know in the comments below if you were able to follow and keep up with any of this video when I started talking about the binary and charge form. If you did, let me know if you think if she looks to be god tier as well. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.